The attacker, however, is going to try and imitate a crazed knifeman and not necessarily a trained martial artist. We've chosen 30 seconds because most knife attacks you can find on video are very short, and after that period of time, they've either ended or the victim is so injured as to be unable to fight back effectively. If we can escape or disarm the attacker in the first 30 seconds, we will count it as a success.
So we'll start with a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu one, which is done from a oriental stab into an X block, and then goes around into this arm lock here. Then they normally just use pain tolerance to, pain compliance to get them to drop the knife. Okay. Switching that shit. So the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu one, you'll notice the shirts are different just because we're doing this out of order. My first thought on the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu one is I don't like it. The emphasis on getting this close to get this X block in and then trying to manipulate this arm while this arm's moving back and forth really quick, it's really hard to do, and me trying to chase that arm had me running into the knife all the time.
At first I liked it. The joint lock kind of appealed to me. It seemed like it would be high percentage, but what I didn't realize was when you have this X block, you're not going to be able to transition to anything unless they just leave their arm there. If he's doing the sewing machine, he's just going to pull it away, and then, I mean, I guess I could X block a lot, but then he's got a lot of other tools at his disposal. I'm using both of my arms for this.
And also, even if I'm fully focused on the knife and I forget that my left hand exists, you're not going to block everything, and if I have a 4-inch knife, I'm still hitting him.
And you can just do it like that. Yeah.
From any way, I can switch to ice pick and start coming in from above. So, I don't like this.
You're not going to be able to end the attack with this. You just...
Right, and this X block...
You just take their hand away.
Exactly, and this X block, I mean, it's decent for stopping the initial, like, upwards thrust. But yeah, any other attack, no matter what orientation the knife is in, this X block doesn't really work that well from any direction except down. So I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest.
So what we do is we use two arms to create more of a blocking surface. So go low, go high. If I do misjudge the knife, where am I going to get stabbed? Well, I get stabbed in my tricep, outer flank of my torso, but it's not life-threatening, and it's something that I can actually absorb and I'll worry about later.
The key to that technique that Kerr MMA is showing is when he retracts, I have to stick with him. So I'm not showing you the technique because I don't want you to be influenced by it, to think it'll work. I want you to just stab.
Right.
So we don't have head equipment, so we're not going to use a fake knife like they do. We have a red marker, which if it stabs me, it's going to make a mark so we can see if it works. And we're going to follow the same rules that they had, which is no going for the face. And I'm going to take it a little easy. He's going to take it a little easy, obviously, because we don't have protective equipment. But I just want to test if this technique can actually work with like a person. So, you know, trying to either stab me below or stab me like this, and we can just see if it works. Oh, shit, yeah, I'm dead. See, the thing is, I'm trying to go for his knife, right?
I switched.
Did you see how he switched? I got a collapsed lung, and I got a liver.
I went here first, and I went switch over.
I was trying to do that block, right, as he goes, and I was trying to go with his arm, but the moment I went with your arm, you switched the hands. So, maybe we could try it one more time. Yeah, it's, the trapping thing doesn't work if he's intent on killing me.
Yeah. I guess if you hit down. Okay.
So. Oh, he already got me. So see, it takes reaction time, man. This isn't as scientific a test as stress test, but I think what we can tell is this little cross X block, probably you want to be careful when dealing with the real knife. Look at how quick he just switched hands and started stabbing me. Here are the parts I got stabbed. I think I am in for a lot of pain.
So, internal bleeding, internal bleeding.
The second one we're going to test is the Ron Balicki system. You use your front hand, jam it into the armpit, keeping your arm straight. The idea is to try to create distance with the knife. Then the system that he does is he'll use strikes to distract the guy, grab the wrist, and either strip the knife, or if the guy pulls back, go for the butt of the knife. We're going to play it a little fast and loose. If we can manage to get this to work, we're not really going to do so much wrist lock stuff because we found that's not really easy to do. From there, any sort of lock that'll take the knife attacker to the floor, or if you manage to get the knife out of his hand, we'll count that as a success.
Not even close to what he did.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm hot.
After finishing the Ron Balicki, or John Balicki, attack system, we took two different approaches to it, and I think his way was better. I tried to go for that textbook hand into the armpit, and found that was not really great, because he could shake it off. What he did, which turned out being a lot better, was instead of trying to insert it and keep it in there, he was simply pushing my shoulder away as I came in for the knife stab, which worked a lot better. I'm sure you can tell the difference right now. So,
although he did get my arm.
I did tear up his arm, but it's
better
probably
than
not
this.
fatal. So I think the Ron Balicki system has the potential to work, but you need to adapt it to a more realistic move set and not this weird insert here, which is very easily defeated.
And there was really no kind of joint lock.
So in this one, the guy recommends, again, this is different than the previous technique that we tried, because in this one, I'm not trying to grab his knife and trap him and disarm him. I just want to get out. So what this guy recommends is you lean on the wall. So I'm getting leverage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do the leverage thing. And the moment that I think I have an opening, I'm going to run. So if I get to that side of the room, I won. So pretend I'm stuck inside. That's what the scenario is. So I'm stuck inside.
Okay.
So... we could potentially try it again. I'll aim for a different part of him. So
Don't be hitting.
yeah, I'm not gonna aim him in the nuts.
You could, but you had to buy me dinner.
So you got me in the kidney. I just want to see if potentially you try to stab towards my leg, but you didn't try to stab towards my leg.
No, I'm trying to go for your body.
Exactly. So I thought by giving him my leg, he tried to get my leg, which would give me enough time to maybe give him a shove and I can run. But he wanted to kill me, so he was coming from here. So this thing didn't distract him.
If you're getting charged at, if they close the distance, if they're really quick, then you're
exactly.
I was just staying like
no matter how much leverage.
I'm just stabbing from here. If I go close to you, then you can't.
If he's so close, try come up real quick. See, look at this. I don't even have time. I think situational awareness is way more important than anything. I better not be getting into a situation like that where the guy's coming at me and I don't have enough time to respond. A lot of people would probably disagree with me on this, but I think if you're in a situation where you might be stabbed, you should wear some armor. Wear some fucking armor. We could test it out more. You know, he can wear pads, I can wear pads, but I think we're going to get very similar results because if he wears pads and I wear pads, he's going to go much more hard on me too.
So the next one we're going to do is Jim Wagner's knife defense system. Jim Wagner is a SWAT officer, so one thing that he focuses on is this isn't a knife disarm, it's a knife defense, and it's meant to give you the time to escape or to gain distance and time and transition to your firearm. So the way he teaches it is it doesn't really matter from which way he swings. I'm going to be shooting to keep his arm away by aiming at the elbow instead of the wrist, because the wrist being a smaller target and with more distance to cover, I'm less likely to hit that and then go for the bicep. From there, the way he teaches it is I'm going to close distance to the arm, and from there, take him to the floor, gain distance.
I'm gonna like this one. Let's go.
Just finished the Jim Wagner system, and my first thought is it's a lot more successful than the other ones. One, because it really stresses gaining distance, so whereas the other ones, my mindset was, you know, stay with a knife, stay on top of Nathan. And this one, my mindset was as soon as it was realistic, gain distance and draw my firearm. And we'll send all this to a friend of mine who's a doctor to get her medical opinion, but my initial thought is this is actually not that bad because these knife stabs are actually right on my rib, so I don't think it would have punctured deeply.
Well, all of our marks are on this side of the body.
Yeah.
Because the way we control this arm, they can't really get over here.
Right.
I feel like just from the impact, it was a light impact.
I agree.
It would penetrate the skin, but I don't think it would do anything really, really bad.
I agree. There really was very few points in either case where I really felt that it sunk in deep, mainly because that arm really keeps this from fully extending in there. So I really like this one, and I think Nathan unfortunately did get hit roughly where the heart is, but the more bladed you get, because I had a really bladed posture, my heart being around here was pretty well spared. My left lung is pretty much mincemeat at this point, but I'd rather a collapsed lung than
I got a nasty
4 inches of
cut
steel in
on
the
my
fire.
ribs, but I mean that's a cut, not a stab. It's not going that deep.
Yeah.
This is another technique that I think a lot of people have taught or seen, so we're going to try this one. If you have enough distance and enough situational awareness, you can get enough of a head start. If he's this close and he has a knife to you, just give him your wallet or something. Unless he really wants to kill you, then you have to fight back, but I think it's not worth it to risk it. Just my opinion.
Alright, next one we're doing is the Aikido one. There's 2 that we're going to use just because that's what they show in the video. The first one is moving on to the outside of the attack. Yeah, they probably can't see. Moving to the outside of the attack, I'm grabbing his wrist and then applying a wrist lock here, down. Hopefully I didn't hurt you there.
No, you're good.
And then the second one they do is switch here so they can see it from the outside. Second one they do is moving on the inside of the attack. I'm grabbing his wrist again and applying pressure here, moving down.
Alright, and go. I bet the camera can't see us. Oh, you were in a bad spot right there, though. So for the Aikido one, actually grabbing the wrist and throwing him that way, It's not gonna happen.
didn't work, it's not going to work. But, as a unintended benefit, trying to constantly grab that wrist, I was still kind of hitting his arm, and I was essentially doing the knife avoidance from Jim Wagner's system, which actually wasn't too bad. The actual takedown that Nathan did was just plain judo.
And it wasn't like a wrist grab, it was like I hugged the arm,
Right.
or like maybe across like this,
So,
and then I turned.
I'd say Aikido kind of worked, but not by any merit of its own design. It just coincidentally borrowed good things from other areas.
I think if you add in these forearm blocks and just don't bother with the wrist and like go for like an arm drag or tack the leg.
It could work a lot
Yeah,
better.
I mean, I don't know how much Aikido would be left, but I think the principles are alright.
Yeah.
The one that they wanted us to do was like classic, tie a toad. Hold them this way,
Yeah.
and then you sink down real low and you trip
Well, see,
them.
that's pure judo because they don't trip the leg.
They don't?
All they do is they use the arm here,
Oh!
which doesn't make any sense.
Alright, well we'll do this again in case you want to put this in.
Yeah.
So the Aikido wants to use just
The
upper body torque and a wrist
Yeah.
lock
to sort of
to just swing to the side.
right and then bring it down this way.
back.
But
So
your version.
I thought it was close to tie a tosh.
right.
I think I misunderstood the technique a little bit, so that's really, I just kind of did a hippie version of tie a tosh, where I just sit over here,
Right.
and then trip them down with my right.
In this scenario, I'm going to look at two different knife defenses. One is from my bro Shane. I think he did that in a tongue-in-cheek fashion, so this is not necessarily to say he's wrong, because I think he knew that was just funny, but I wanted to test it out anyways. And the next one is a Sistema clip where the guy tries to do the same thing, but his back is turned towards the guy with the knife. So let's try the first scenario. So Rob's going to use the pen to try to pretend to be a knife and stab me. What I'm going to do is, in Shane's scenario, I'm like, yo, dude, so you're like trying to rob me.
Okay.
So I'm like, dude, I don't want any trouble. So what I'm going to try to do is, I'm going to try to kick, whether through this motion or this motion or maybe an upward motion. I'm going to try all three types and see if it works. I already kind of know it's probably not going to work because my pants are not the type that allow me to kick high. I already feel limitation.
Also, the femoral artery is very close. Probably not the best idea to go showing your femoral artery to a knife.
That's true. The femoral artery is here, right?
We need a it's right. It's near the groin.
Yeah, it's near the groin, exactly. So basically what he's saying is if you're trying to kick the knife, you could slice your femoral artery, and then you're basically, unless you get help, immediately dead.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then on the other hand, if this goes into my throat or my heart, I'm dead anyway, so
Right.
maybe you should try it anyway. So I'm like, dude, I don't want any trouble, dude. How much money do you want? How much money do you want?
I want it all, Jerry.
Okay, that didn't work.
It's pretty good, Jerry.
Dude, how much money do you want?
I want it all, Jerry.
Didn't work? So the key is when I kick your hand,
Right.
it doesn't get you to automatically let it go.
Certainly not, no.
Fuck.
But I'm impressed by your flexibility.
Oh, thank you. Well, I used to do Kung Fu. So, how much money do you want, man?
I want it all, Jerry.
Okay, that didn't work either. I'm gonna try one more thing. Okay. Dude, how much money do you want?
I want it all, Jerry!
Okay, that didn't work either. Were you holding it very tight?
Not at all. I have it in between my thumb and my index finger.
Oh, wow. Okay, I was trying to aim for the hand. Maybe I should have tried to kick. So, assuming the knife has held the blades like this, maybe I should try to kick the. Probably not.
I don't.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that, but
Let's try this.
you know.
Look, I'll give my. Here's my wallet. Okay, here's my wallet. Okay, that didn't work.
You just cut your ankle.
I just cut my ankle.
just straight up, just slice the Achilles heel.
If that doesn't work, the next technique probably won't work. The next technique, so he has it more like towards here.
The back is fine.
Yeah. So
Stab you! I stab
so what our guy's doing is he kicks it. He does this motion. And he kicks the knife out of the guy's hand. So I think you need a lot of practice to pull this off. So I don't think I'm the best
I
tester.
think that's they're gonna stab you in the ass. Because how are you gonna kick it if the knife is up here? You can't.
Maybe you could.
No. Nah.
So it's not gonna work.
Not happening.
So why was that?
I think what he did doesn't he like spin? Doesn't he like he spins right? And
Oh,
then grabs the wrist.
I mean,
And then you grab the neck.
maybe, but in that clip, I'm pretty sure he kicked like that. So yeah, maybe I'm just Asian. My leg span, my feet are too short. Maybe that's why.
If you engage in a knife fight, there's a 99.9% chance you will be cut. Or more. Like, you have to accept the fact that you will be cut. And that is not something that people want to accept. So probably best to not engage in a knife fight.
So the Krav Maga one, they have two different solutions for two different kinds of strikes, but based on what we've been doing here, we're really going to end up just using one, I think. So for the ascending strike, they have their arm at this sort of angle here, not 90 degrees, not more than 120 is about here. They explain it so that if you do it more than 120, the knife is going to glance up, and then less than 90, and you don't have the power to stop the attack. So their idea is strike, 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 here, take. And then for a descending strike, they do a very similar thing here. And then here, they bring, take. That's their two approaches to it. And we're going to give it a shot.
Try.
Yeah, so.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh shit, no! God, that hurts!
I believe it. 2, 1. That worked.
Fuck, that hurts so much!
Krav Maga is a bit of a mixed bag. I definitely got off a little better than Nathan did. I think that may just be a difference in styles. I'm used to striking from further out since I do Shotokan, so I think that helped me keep the distance. I think since Nathan is much more of a judoka, he was definitely trying to get in tighter, and that may have caused a little more of this. But one thing I definitely do like about the Krav Maga system was the integrated strikes. it's really easy to forget to hit based off what we've seen in the other ones. And so when the technique specifically integrates a strike as part of it, it's a lot easier to remember. And those hits aren't particularly hard. I wasn't throwing a lot of weight behind it.
It completely disrupted.
It disrupts your thinking, it disrupts your OODA loop, which is really good. And the interesting thing is, like, you don't have to commit to the strike a lot. I wasn't putting a lot of weight behind my punches, but just Nathan walking into the strike was enough to mess him up and keep him from coming at me and keep him away, keeping him from just overwhelmingly grabbing onto my neck.
That did happen, and that's where the marks came from once I got your neck.
Yeah,
but it took a while.
It did. I think like a lot of this stuff here is once he gets up close to me and I've got the knife, he's basically, I mean, he can control it pretty well.
It's hard to keep it from touching me. So.
Right. Like he can control my movement to a certain extent, but I can just put a lot of weight behind it and still end up hitting him. So definitely keeping your distance is good, but that being said, once you get taken to the ground, it's very obvious as you have more ground experience, you tend to dominate that. The only danger, which I don't think was caught on camera because we were over there, the only danger is that...
we can cut this if that's not true, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think it might have gotten it.
It might have been. The only danger that I could think of was right at the end when we were doing the Krav Maga one. I got
up in some kind of guard situation.
Yeah, Nathan was like it was in guard and had my head, if I remember right.
I know, I had your arm, but it wasn't the knife hand.
Exactly, and I'm still on my feet, and I have all these arteries at your disposal, so that's less than great. So ground can work if you can get my knife hand.
It was good when we were in real guard and I had your arm.
Yeah, but then once I
I shifted over and I wanted to go for an arm bar, and then you managed to stand up.
Yeah, so it's a bit all or nothing with the ground game. You're either going to have control of the knife or you're not, and that's going to be really bad for you.
I think somebody who's done BJJ for 5+ years
would have
probably easily transition
to
some kind of a joint lock, especially if they do no-gi.
Yeah. So, final thoughts. Out of all the systems, the thing that I liked was Krav Maga's integrated strikes, Jim Wagner's emphasis on getting out as soon as you can. I liked the fact that both in Krav Maga and Jim Wagner's, you're aiming for this upper arm area, which is a lot easier to consistently hit.
It definitely works
than the wrist.
Way better than anything with the wrist.
Yeah. What I didn't like any of the small joint, or wrist manipulation from Aikido. I very much didn't like this. This worked a little better. If you're doing this,
I put this shoulder push on the same level as this forearm block.
Yeah.
I think that worked really well.
I think the key thing, the nice thing across all of them that worked, is really aiming for this area here.
The bicep.
The bicep. Going for a shoulder or lower arm really doesn't work that well. And aside from that, you'll notice I didn't really take him down all that often. So
that's just
judo really does help.
That's the way we do things. Differently, but
you sort of got like a bit of a different look because he's much more a grappling oriented fighter. I'm much more of a striking oriented fighter.
I would be terrified to grapple against a knife though.
Yeah, I would be too.
I mean, it was all right.
But that being said,
it looked all right here, but you get up and I'm covered, right?
Right, but nonetheless, assuming that none of these instantly kill you, it has to be said his grappling did effectively stop me at certain points. It stopped the attack completely. Whereas my striking may have saved me a little bit, but
well, but we were both still upright, right? The fight could go on.
The fight could go on.
And I think I got you in some sort of joint lock at some point.
You did. You got me into a Kimura.
And if somebody's really trying to stab me,
you're breaking
that, and I guess they could switch hands and continue, but it would be really hard for them.
Right.
And at that point, you could start punching their broken arm, as they advance. The shoulder thing,
that, and that would definitely stop it.
I mean, I just don't. You talk shit about pain compliance, but I think that's just a whole new level.
Yeah. I think it's a totality of circumstances. If you are, trapped in a room like this and you can't get out no matter what, you better hope to God you've got some grappling so you can start taking out the limbs so that you can stop the attack.
Or some Golden Gloves level.
Right, or you can just knock the guy out.
a swift hook, right?
Right. If you have space and all you need to do is gain distance and time to get out or transition to a firearm,
I would do that Krav Maga thing.
I would do the Krav Maga
Punch,
thing.
run back,
I would probably
see if they still feel like chasing you, right?
Right. I would probably combine the integrated strikes from Krav Maga with Jim Wagner's, because the emphasis of escaping on Jim Wagner's and the emphasis on striking in Krav Maga, that definitely worked out really well together.
At the end of the Krav Maga, you do that. You grab the wrist and you strip the knife. I wouldn't even bother with
Yeah,
that.
no, I wouldn't bother with it, particularly because if we grab the knife real quick, which is here, if we grab the knife, and he's just got it in like a really firm grasp,
Gorilla grip.
yeah, gorilla grip, the only thing I have to grab is the knife blade. And while you
If
can...
you grab my wrist, like, now it's just a battle of strength.
Right.
Really.
And you've got probably 20 pounds of muscle in me. I'm not gonna win that fight. And if I'm trying to, you know, somehow take it away from you, the only place I have to grab is a knife. And if I grab that knife and he just pulls really sharp out, there goes my entire hand. I've just lost all my fingers, the ability to grab. So I wouldn't even bother. I would do, because Jim Wagner emphasizes not grabbing the knife. I would take that. I would take the striking from Krav Maga.
Fuck with their head and make them punch drunk, right?
Right. And then last thing is, honestly, if you have the chance to escape, I'd say probably striking is better than grappling, because you just want to gain some distance and run, as opposed to closing
what
distance.
does Voxer say? Like, get on your bicycle.
Right.
You know, keep your legs.
Yeah, it's
Keep moving.
keep moving. But that's really all we have for you today. So I hope this was informative, and I hope that some of you guys try this out too, and share what you've got, because Nathan's done mostly judo. He did some boxing back in the day.
A little bit.
I've done a lot of karate, although I'm a bit rusty, and some just general cross training into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, judo, but not as much as you. So that's what our experience is. But you know, maybe a really high level boxer or a really high level judoka or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu player can try this out and see for themselves how this works, and we can start comparing results and trying to myth bust all the stuff that's on YouTube.
I'd put my money on a high level boxer.
I would
They can
too.
keep their distance.
I would
and
too.
With those real fast jabs, really disrupt you.
Right, I would too. So anyway, that's all we got for you today.
I have a friend who does Filipino Kali and Screama and all that stuff, and I come from a jiu-jitsu background, so I don't think like she does. When I think Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu, I think about position before submission, and I think about, you know, striking to the head or to like the, you know, the main kidneys and the liver shots and all that sort of stuff. With the knife, she's talking to me about slicing digits and working your way inside, which to me is terrifying.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it's just like slice, now your hand's gone. And then she's not even concerned about like the carotids and like, you know, stabbing to the vitals. She just cuts your hand, and then she slices this. Now you can't use this arm anymore. Now I can stab you all I want.
God.
Which to me was an eye opener, because I think about, you know, slipping punches and coming in to try and hit the chin and all that stuff. I'm not even thinking about, are you trying to slice my fingers off?
Exactly. And in the pressure test and in our previous examples, we were trying to test if someone was untrained, just stabbing. But this is another perspective. This is someone, if you want to engage someone that's trained, oh, you better think like 60, 100 times before you do it. I was trying to make a fun pun on think twice, but it just wasn't working. So.